I've been a public speaker in the area of political Islam for some time, and one of the most frequent questions I'm asked is, aren't you afraid? And what they mean is, aren't you afraid that some jihadi assassin will kill you? That's what they mean. And so therefore this makes them timid about dealing with Islam. But you need to understand something. We have two enemies. We have the near enemy, who are the apologists for Islam, and then we have the far enemy, which is Islam itself. My recommendation with you is, don't bother with the far enemy, don't bother with Islam. Instead, who you need to be talking to are newspaper editors, your family, co-workers, church members. You need to be dealing with school board members, librarians. That is, you need to be dealing with people who will never assassinate you. So you don't need to be afraid at all. Now, you might be afraid of this. You see, if you become publicly identified as a dissident speaking out against Islam, they're liable to call you names like, oh, you're a hater, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're an Islamophobe, and maybe some others, I don't know. Now, this falls under the heading of sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Now, I've learned that actually names will hurt you, and so this can make people fearful. But it's a different kind of fear. You can suck it up and deal with this fear. The fear of being assassinated, well, that's quite different, but you don't need to bother with that. Instead, you need to be talking with those who apologize and support Islam, and they know nothing of it. So your weapon is education. That's what you need to be doing. The near enemy includes progressives, leftists, and liberals. You need to be able to explain to someone who's a school board member that although they think they're doing good by supporting Islam, they're also doing things like supporting child brides, wife beating, jihad. You need to be able to explain to a progressive or a liberal that there's nothing in his civilizational agenda that is supported by Islam, and indeed, Islam is the enemy of his agenda. So you need to be dealing with the near enemy. That's who you need to be dealing with, and let's face it, a Methodist minister is not going to harm you. He may say you're a bigot or a hater, but that doesn't really harm you. Now, let me point out one thing. If you're not being called names, you're not doing your job. There's a saying that if you're taking flack, you're over the target. So you do need to be putting yourself in a position where not that you're angry or abusive in any way, but where you're talking to people about real ideals. Look, everyone has ideals how they would like to see society run. Talk with people about their ideals and point out how that the ideals of Islam do not match the ideals of their political position. So, talk with a feminist and explain to her that she needs to have a little moral outrage and to do something. But remember, a feminist is not going to harm you. So if you want to be a dissident and deal with Islam, don't worry about the fear part. You may worry about being called names, but you'll get over that. If you're not being called names, you're not really doing a job anyway. Thank you.